This is where the fun begins.
Just get those wonderful toys.
Welcome to the party, pal!
All right, hello. Can you guys hear me? How is it going? I'm sorry, I was a few minutes behind trying to catch up. Um, child stuff, kid stuff. It is Father's Day. So you are correct. I'm all good. Packed for Joe Fest. Oh, awesome. Yeah, so happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. It is quite tough being a dad, but I think if you are, then you know that it is worth it. So happy Father's Day to all you guys out there, all you dads, and hopefully you got to talk to your dad if he's still around. Everybody hear me okay? Feels like it's working. So I got a good show for you guys, I think, today. Hey, howdy, how are ya? Bob, Bjorn, Ian, welcome, Jabalong Jeff, Jabalong World Building, I like that. Change the name a little bit, huh? Good evening, yes, hello everyone, thanks for coming to the show. I think I've got a good one for you today. There was a lot of news. There actually was, thank you, Bob, thank you. There was a lot of news, I think, the last 2 weeks. But I think we're going to stick to what we had talked about last time. We're going to do a little deep dive into the Grindhouse Toys Kickstarter that just launched the other day. After we get kind of through the regular news, I hope you'll stick around. I don't know how long we'll go tonight. We'll go as long as it takes. Hopefully you guys can hang out with me for a while. So like we always do, we're going to quickly kind of go over the last 2 weeks on the channel. I was able to get out about 4 videos over the last 2 weeks. Only one last week, but I got out 3 this week. I dropped one yesterday morning, my morning. I'm not sure if it was morning to you. But last week I did a haul video, my May haul. And then I did an Acid Rain, like a world build. Not a world build, a squad build. That's what I was calling it. A squad build that I had kind of done with some Acid Rain stuff. I did a video on some epic hero Marvel type figures. And then the video that I dropped yesterday was on my most recent openings. I wanted to talk about a whole bunch of figures. And so the only way to kind of do that was to make that video. It's kind of like my random openings video. So I've opened a lot of stuff, but I don't always make videos of everything. So that was what that video was. I hope that you liked it. They were all fairly long. I think the Marvel one was almost a half hour, which I think is probably the longest video I've ever done. And the payoff was if you got all the way through it to the end, and I don't know if any of you guys did, I brought out all my Iron Man and showed you guys the 1/18 scale Iron Man collection that I have. So if you haven't seen that, please check one of those, those videos out. World War Hell looks good. Yeah, it does. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. Kicks over 52,000. Yeah, I've got it over here on this other screen. It looks like it's at 57 right now. Yeah, 57. There you go, Ian. Yeah. So it's looking good. Yeah, we'll get to that. There was some other news. Yeah, there was a lot. I don't know if we'll get through everything because I want to make sure I spend some time on the Kickstarter. Got a little bit of coffee here. Pretty sure we're going to get all the World War Hell stretch goals. I hope so. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in. You guys will see when I pull it up. You'll see my pledge. You'll see what I did. I'll talk about it. All right, so I think that was the last 2 weeks. Gotta admit, I don't know the next two. I don't know. I haven't really planned out the next two. Um, it's something I usually would do today, but it was Father's Day, so we did a couple things, couple family things. Um, so I didn't have time to do that, but I did have time to prepare for this stream. So Marauder had some great reveals. Yeah, yeah. So like all the news, when I do the news, this is just some of it. It wasn't all of it. I couldn't possibly. We'd be here for a long time. So I kind of picked out some things that I wanted to talk about. If there's something you want to talk about, like the Marauder stuff, we'll definitely come back around and do that. Um, and we'll stay on as long as it takes. So, got my cup of coffee. I hope you guys got a nice beverage. I hope you can stick around for the full show. Let's get to this. Let me see. And that's not going to work, is it? So I need to fix that really quick. Let's see. Let's see. There you go. So I messed that up. So that one. Hold on one sec, guys. I got to remember how to do this. This is what you get when you have less time than you think to prepare. I've got it all set up on my side, but you can't see it. Let's go window capture. How do we do this? There we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. Holy smokes. I'm definitely IT challenged, I'll tell you. I don't do this stuff at work. I always say this, I learned to do YouTube by watching YouTube videos, so I apologize for wasting your 20 seconds right there. Okay, so let's see. There is going to be a round of pre-orders for Eagle Force this Friday. Is it this Friday? That's great. That's great. I hadn't heard what day it was. But does that mean that Joe Fest is this weekend? Because I thought it was tied into the Joe Fest, right? All right, we will talk a little Eagle Force here in a moment. Wanted to start off with this. I tried to do this kind of chronologically, and then I took a few things out. So we'll see. We'll see if we can. We'll see how it goes here. Joy Toy. They're kicking them out, man. You got to kick them out. Kick out the jams. That was a song, wasn't it? I think it was Rage Against the Machine. We got to kick them out. They remade someone's songs. Here we go. 3 more figures. We've got what looks like to be a great wave. Wave 6, they're calling it. We're already at wave 6, if you can believe that. It's crazy. I did recently, just today actually, 2 of my Triceratons showed up. So that's great. They're big, beefy guys. I'm imagining these are as well. They're going to go live with the Eagle Force during the panel. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, one of you guys, I hope, no pressure, will, stream that or post that after if you're able to record it. I know last year, I think I watched Bob's channel, posted it, and that was a great for all of us who can't get there. All right, so we've got Razor, Dirtbag, and Ground Chuck. These guys all look like big beefy boys. Cool accessories. I think if I'm looking at these and I'm just gonna rate them, I think, and I don't know the names. I'm pretty sure this is Razor. This is Dirtbag, right? No, this is Ground Chuck. So the ox here looks the best to me. But I did pre-order all of these. I really did. I jumped right on it. I ordered all 3 of them. I think from Locker Toys or Cool Toys. Really happy with this line. If you saw my end of the year last year line, 118 line of the year, it was these turtles, and they're just coming with it. I haven't got a bad one yet. Some are better than the others. It's odd to me that the main characters, the turtles, I think are a little bit on the weaker end relative to some of the best ones. Um, the Foot Soldiers. I really like the Foot Soldiers, both versions. Bebop and Rocksteady probably the best, I think. Um, I believe Bob will be filming it, but don't quote me on that. I'm planning to record and post it this year too. Even got a microphone, so hopefully audio will be better. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I appreciate that, Bob. Us guys that can't get over there, um, we live for that stuff, and it's an awesome thing for the community for you to do that. But yeah, I definitely like this guy. I think the best. But I did pre-order these guys. One each, packed with accessories, big beefy guys. I was surprised those Triceratons. I'm assuming these are about the same size. The boxes were heavy. The individual boxes were pretty heavy. I'm not sure which one you guys like the best. This guy's really cool. He looks like you could use him too with like your fantasy stuff if you just give him, a club or some kind of, maybe take away the car door there, but he looks like he could work with your Boss Fight Studio, anything. Um, the other two, a little more space age. This must be Ground Chuck here. Comes with a wheelbarrow. I don't really know these characters. Razor, I kind of remember. Toka and Razor, I think they were like buddies, if I remember correctly in the cartoon. But these other two guys I don't really know. But I think this guy, the bull guy, looks the best, though. I think so. He's going to look great with my sci-fi stuff. I don't know if I'll necessarily use him with my turtles. Close to 118 Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, yeah. Yeah, I love that line. I've got a lot of those figures. I'm going to have to do an army build video on my Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I spent a lot of money on Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, guys. I have a lot of figures. Army built several different ones. I'm going to have to get those out eventually. I haven't been playing with my fantasy stuff too much. Haven't got it out in quite a while. Toka and Razor from TMNT 2. Okay. Tech, welcome to the party. Tech, in my the video, the Kamen Riders, I posted a couple links. You had asked about where I picked those up. If you guys are interested in any of those Kamen Rider figures that I post or that I talked about, I did post links in the comments to where I found them on AliExpress. I actually found some other ones too. It looked like the ones that I bought, you can only buy as like the set of 8 now. They're not selling them individually. But then I found some other ones that look like they're from the same line or same set. And I think those were like 7 or 8 a piece. So if you have time, I would check those out if you're interested at all. Bob also commented, those are some really good Kamen Rider figures. I was surprised how good they are, and at that price point. So if you have time, hopefully you don't leave now, but if you have to, please come back. There's a link on AliExpress to where those Kamen Riders, where I picked them up, and then I found someone else selling a few other ones. But at that price, they're like $8, $7, $8, $9. They're pretty inexpensive. I think you could get 2 of them for like 20, so like $10 a piece with the tax and the tariff and all that they tack on. But check that out. And welcome, Tech. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Glad to see you survive the fall. All right. So TMNT figures look great. Did any of you guys pick these up? Are you saving for Joe Fest? I know you're saving for Joe Fest. But some cool figures nonetheless. Joy Toy kicking them out, man. They're just kicking them out. We're already on wave 6. I can't believe that. That's the line's only been out like a year and a half, I think, right? 6 waves, and they have been like waves of. I think the first wave was 4, wasn't it? It was the 4 turtles. So they've been mostly waves of 3. I think the second one was Shredder and the 2 different Foot Soldiers, and so on. So cool stuff. Very cool. Let's switch gears now, and we'll talk a little. Audi sure is Super Fast. Oh, he's trying.
trying.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah, there's no let up this year. You know, and we'll talk about this when we get to the Star Wars stuff. This has been already been a really good strong year, man. It's always been a good strong year with 118. All right, Eagle Force. Let's talk Eagle Force. Axel Foley, right? Isn't that his name? Axel Foley, Axel F. You guys remember this song? My cousin was from Los Angeles. He used to do all like the techno dancing and stuff. He's a little bit older than I was. I forget his name now. Elfman, the guy who did the soundtrack to Beverly Hills Cop. He also did the soundtrack to Nightmare Before Christmas. Danny Elfman, I think that's his name. Countless other movies. But the theme song to Beverly Hills Cop was called Axel F, which is, I believe, the name of the character that Eddie Murphy played. And this figure looks great, guys. You guys going to Joe Fest? Danny Elfman, there you go. Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. Is someone in here going to Joe Fest? Bjorn, Bob, whoever else is going to Joe Fest that's here. I'm sorry if I missed you. Tell me you're getting this. I can't see someone passing this up. This looks too good. It really does look too good to pass up. Yep, Axel Foley. Yep, there he is. Yeah, I knew that was his name. I remember. That's a good movie. I can't remember this part 2 as well. But part 1, first one is awesome. Yeah, you're getting Axel, aren't you? You're getting, what do they call him? Sergeant Brown. Yeah, this looks like an awesome figure. Definitely. Do you guys know, is this Eagle Force 81, this little designation here? Is that another subline? Does it say that in here? I don't see it. But I don't recognize this 81. I don't think that was on any of the other figures. Am I wrong? Nevertheless, this figure looks great. I miss all the Joe Fest stuff. I don't know anyone who's going. Well, Tech, there's a couple people here in the chat that are. There's some good people in the community. I'm sure you could find someone. George Lucas has a cameo in part 3. Oh, does he? I didn't know that. I don't think I've seen part 3, or if I have, I don't remember. But I just remember the theme song because my cousin used to just play it all the time. And they used to play this on the, afternoon television on the weekends quite often. I remember, I think it's this movie where he stuffs the bananas up the tailpipe. Am I wrong about that? That's a weird thing to remember, but for some reason I remember that. Great movie, though. Great looking figure. Convention exclusive. I know he says somewhere if there's any left, they try to sell them on the website. I think the Fresh Monkey website. I'm not sure if it was the Big Bad website or Fresh Monkey's website. But yeah, this is a pickup. This is a pickup if you can get one, and hopefully I can attain one myself. Yeah, that's a great bit. You remember that part too, Bjorn? Yeah, that's a good movie, man. But yeah, you guys that go into Joe Fest, you're gonna get the first dibs. Hopefully, it says there's a limit of 2. I think, right? Limit of 2 per day. I think Joe Fest is 3 or 4 days. But they're about $30, which seems about right, but no shipping, right? And you get it right there, and sounds like a great deal. Sounds like a great deal. Are redos of original figures, so mostly the gold ones. Oh, okay. Okay, I don't have any of the gold ones. I just got my first gold one, but I got the Chicken Fried Toys version of that cowboy in the gold outfit. I actually have it sitting over here. But I didn't know that. I don't have any of the gold ones. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. All right, so yeah, this looks phenomenal. Probably, again, this is one of my most the thing I've been looking the most towards this year is the Eagle Force Kickstarter, or I guess it's not a Kickstarter now, it's a pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store, and it's any day now. It's imminent. It's imminent. I'm getting 2, one for me, one for a buddy. That's nice, cool. Yeah. Looks like a great figure, man. Great figure. All right. Do they charge sale tax at the cons? Good question. I don't know. Maybe someone can answer that. I would imagine tax. Oh well, there's a little asterisk there. It says tax is not included. Right down there, it's real small on the screen right there. But I don't know if that means in person or not. That's a good question. Does anyone know if Spin Master is going to create 118 movie figures for Superman? Hey, Kevin, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream. Unfortunately, no. It looks like they've gone to a 3-inch. I don't know what scale that is. At like 24-inch scale. I'm not sure what the actual number is. But it appears that they are not. We've talked about that a couple times here on the live streams. It looks like Spin Master is going to the 5 POA Super 7 type reaction with 118. At least they're doing a Superman wave, but it's the Christopher Reeves Superman, but it doesn't look like anything 118 for the new movie. Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next, and I got this courtesy of our friend Bob, Beta Ray Bob. Track these down. I guess they're quite a bit cheaper here on Pia Club, but the Takara T-Spark Legacy Soul Microman Command #1. That's a really long name. 4 figures. It's like it's $71. Quite a bit less, I think, than what was that Big Bad. I think they're 100 at Big Bad, if I remember. Thank you to Bob for letting people in the community know. I did not know about these. I am tempted, but at this moment, I don't think I can. Because Pia Club does charge you up front, and I would save money buying these now rather than from Big Bad, but I just don't think I can spare the money for this right now. But these look really good. Very nostalgic, very classic. Looks like they come with the container there. The sarcophagus, the one I had as a kid, was the mummy's tomb. They look really good. Super posable, super articulated. Takara, I have a Takara, because they did some DC figures in the past, and I can't remember who I have. I have Catwoman. I have the Takara Catwoman. Super articulated, crazy articulated. And these look about the same. Pirates, welcome. Pirates, welcome to the party. I don't like the look of these. Okay, yeah, they're not for everybody. I think like a lot of this stuff, nostalgia. If you have a nostalgic, motivation, if you had these, it's going to be hard, I think, to say no. If you've never had these before, or you're not sure what they are like that, I don't like the look, then it's a pretty easy pass. I'm kind of in the middle because I had one of the small ones and one of the big ones as a kid, and I did really like them. It's more of a price thing to me right now. It's more of a financial thing. I don't think I can spring it. So the Microman is a Japanese line that the North American Micronauts is based on. Okay, so this is actually Microman, not Micronauts, but they're like cousins, stepbrothers, half brothers. Speaking of Micronauts, we got some Micronaut comics on Saturday. Oh, you did? Okay. Man, the last 2 weeks I've been meaning to go by my comic book store, like one of the local ones that has a big toy section. I just haven't been able to go. Just haven't. Every time I go, oh, don't spend the money. Just keep going, and I haven't gone. I did have these Micronauts. The old hit sculpts were better. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I have nostalgia for the transparent Micronauts. Those Ego Force hidden figures scratch that itch. Yeah, those are really good figures, Jeff. I wish I would have got a couple. I remember thinking, I'm not big on translucent figures. And I was going to talk about that when we get to the Grindhouse toys, because they have a very cool looking translucent blue figure in the Kickstarter. I'm not a big translucent person, like when it comes to figures. but I know some people really are. And it's like food. Some people like things, some people don't. But I passed on those Fresh Monkey ones because they were translucent, and now I regret it. I work in a toy store that occasionally gets comics. Oh, cool, cool. People selling their collections, probably, Bjorn. But yeah, these look good. Thank you, Bob, for pointing them out, letting people know they are available, and at a better price than what Big Bad was offering. Yeah, they do look like I can see like in the hand there that joint, that little pin in the hand right there. That is a lot like the Catwoman figure that I have. I want the boss fight orange crystal translucent blank figures so I could use them as Human Torch. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, they also have translucent figures. Yeah, you're right. I've just never been big on that. The original translucent Micronauts broke too easy. Yeah, I don't have any experience with those. If you're ever in the Oklahoma area, check out Chucky's. Okay, Chucky's. I've not heard of that. Yeah, cool. So yeah, these are out there. Looks like they're for pre-order. Um, estimated. I don't see the date here. Estimated to arrive. My screen is not allowing me to pan over, so I can't see what that says. Maybe it says it down here. December of 25. So that's 6 months away. Less than 6 months away. Won't have to wait too long for these if you're gonna pick them up. Okay, let's move on. Okay, we're gonna talk a little Star Wars. I don't know if any of you had a chance to watch the Hasbro Pulse. Was it Pulse? The Hasbro YouTube channel. They did a live stream. I Am Your Father, I think is what they called it, right? I Am Your Father live stream, special for Father's Day. The first thing they talked about, that's why I'm here on this tab, was they did announce that they're going to go back to the traditional 6x9 card format with the deluxe figures. I know that bothered a lot of people when they went to that bigger card. I wasn't really one of them. Either way, I'm more, again, just like the Micronaut thing, I'm more about the price. Like, I don't mind the bigger card. It's the bigger price that I'm not as, keen on. Cantina 4-pack true back up tomorrow. That's right. It's in my notes here. Tomorrow, for me, I think it's 8 a.m. I think it's on the West Coast. I'm pretty sure. I put a reminder on my phone. I'm getting there. I've got to get those. I missed them last time. I got the Cantina 4-pack, but I missed the Trooper pack. So hopefully I can get those tomorrow. But yes, I think his name's Mr. Stevie. He came in, said, "Hey, we're listening to the fans," kind of a thing. We're going to go back to the other card, and you're welcome. We heard you. So that was nice of them to do that. It's weird to me that no one was in the room when the idea was thought up and said, it's not a good idea. Maybe someone did, but Mr. Stevie, it was his decision, because it was funny. It was right when he was done. Emily, the girl that does the TVC, she said, "Thanks, boss." And it was kind of a reminder, to all of us, oh, he's Mr. Stevie and everything. Well, he's the boss, though. He's got the final decision. He's the one that said, "Hey, we're leaving 6x9. We're going to this card." It was his decision at the end of the day, like all bosses, you have people that work for you. At the end of the day, it's your decision. And it was his decision to go to the bigger card, and it was also his decision to go back to it. So, thanks for listening, Mr. Stevie. I don't know why you ever thought that was a good idea. I'm sure someone in the room told you it wasn't, but you did it anyways. And when you're the boss, you can do that. I'm an opener anyways, yeah. And I think all the deluxe figures so far have opened. Or I have them here because I just got them and I just haven't had a chance to open them yet. But yeah, they're going back. They're switching back to smaller card. I like that. I wasn't against the big ones, but I do prefer the smaller one. And along those lines, actually before the live stream, I guess probably a day or two before the live stream, Yak Face, a couple other people, Galactic Figures. I'm not sure if Bantha Skull mentioned it, but Target um, did put up for pre-order some older figures that maybe people didn't have a chance to get in the past, or with the Cantina coming and the return to Tatooine, release some characters from Tatooine. Bib Fortuna, the Gamorrean Guard, and Bomb Vimden. I think the Gamorrean Guard has since sold out. I think. Um, Nice of them to bring these back. I didn't need them particularly. And in fact, this is probably a hot take that most of you won't agree with. I actually didn't really like the Gamorrean Guard. Um, I remember when it came out, it's already been released. They re released it once before, so I think this is the third time. I could never get the helmet to stay on mine. Um, just like in Return of the Jedi, they're a bit clunky, and you can't really like pose them really well. But it's kind of because they couldn't really pose, very well in the movie. But I got a couple of them. Don't need any more. I have Bib Fortuna, and I actually have like 5 or 6 of these Bomb Vimdens. This is a really good figure, even though he's got swivel hips. He's a little dated now. Got like 5 of these guys, and I made a gang out of them. I was finding this guy on clearance aisles during TVC 1.0, so I was able to grab a whole bunch of them. So I have about 5 of them. I got 2 of the Bomb Vinden and the Bib Fortuna. Cool. Yeah, I like this Bomb Vinden. I really like it. His jacket, his vest, really, really good. And the paint is, he was always really, really good. Um, if he just had the new style hips, this would be like a 10 out of 10 to me. He's a bit, he's got a little bit of the dated articulation, but the paint and the sculpt are, uh, perfect. They're perfect. They hold up. This is actually the 4th time it's been released. Okay, I knew it was at least 3. Um, I was lucky, it was weird. Was I actually found when it first came out, the Gamorrean, I found 2 of them on the pegs back in the day. Picked them both up, and then when they reissued them the second time, I grabbed a couple more because I thought I needed like 4 or 5 to kind of put around Jabba's palace, and I'm good now. I'm good now. But this is nice for people that never got a chance to get them, and they were especially the Gamorrean Guard. He was kind of expensive on the secondary. I like the vintage version, also the Power Force 2 one. It looks better than how they appear in the film. It's a problem. Okay. His holster fits Marauders and Dine Novel Legend Bucks. Oh, okay. You're talking about Bomb Vinden? Yeah. Yeah, this rifle's really cool. It's got a nice pistol. This is a good figure. This is a good figure. I guess all 3 of these are actually really good. The Bib Fortuna is probably the newest one, I think, out of these 3. Good figures though, and it's nice that they reissued them. There's people, just like if you're here, you're diehard like me. There's people always coming into the line. So this is their chance to get this kind of at retail price. I think the Gamorrean, they put him at the deluxe price, which is kind of unfortunate because he was a standard figure before. But he is a big, hefty, figure. He does have soft goods. He came with, I think, 3 weapons, 2 or 3 weapons. The helmet is removable. Popular figure. I needed the Bib Fortuna for customs. Yeah, I've got one right around here somewhere. Actually, I can't remember. Something broke on mine. I had to get a second one. I don't know if it broke, if I did something, can't remember, but I ended up having to get a second one of the Bib Fortunas. All right, so after we talked about the 6x9 card, the reissues, here's the real part of the stream. We didn't get that much this time. It was mostly a Black Series, where I think last time we got the most of the figures and they didn't. Kind of worked reverse this time. We did get the TIE Advance, the Darth Vader TIE Advance. Comes with a new, I think it's a new card back for the Vader. It's the same Vader we've gotten before, but on a new card back, I believe, with a new image. It looks really good. They also finally, we talked about this. This was been known for many months. The Snowtrooper 4-pack. Luckily for me, I've already army built this Snowtrooper. This is an excellent figure, guys. I did a video on it. Right now, I think it's runner-up for Army Builder of the Year for me. Maybe even Figure of the Year. I think it kind of depends. I just watched yesterday, actually. I've been way behind on my YouTube. Boss Bounty, I think, had the Snowtrooper as his #1 TVC figure. This, halfway through the year, this was his #1 figure. He thought, his favorite, he thought was the best. It's a great figure if you haven't got it yet. The tie is a lot of money. Yeah, it is, Ian. Yes, it is. It had me thinking twice about it, too. Like, I have the Power of the Force 2-1. Oh, man, it looks so good, but, man, it's expensive. It really is. I think it's $140, I think, at least, right? It is. It's not cheap. Yeah, $140. Woo! It's a lot of money, man. Looks like a great ship. Yeah, I'm gonna have to really think about it. Probably want one. And then maybe I can sell or trade or give away my Power of the Force 2-1. Still in pretty good shape. But this does look, got that TVC treatment. As a kid, I had the Kenner's Vader TIE Fighter. Oh, you did? Okay. I was more disappointed as Black Series got the Temple Guard. Yeah, they did. I saw that. That's always been on the March Madness and Last Figure Standing. That one's highly sought after. I actually have one. Like a 5-point one. It doesn't have the lightsaber though. I thought about selling it because I saw how expensive they were on eBay. But yeah, that would be a great figure. That would be a great figure if we get that in TVC. Not worth that price though. Yeah, see, this is right at the edge even for me. It's a bit too much. Decisions. Just don't think I can do it at this time. But I do feel confident at that price. I think, Mark, if I'm wrong, we'll come back. We'll talk about it. This won't sell out. I don't think. When the Star Wars ships get so expensive, it's weird because the X-Wings that they did Poe Dameron X-Wing, and they did the Luke Skywalker X-Wing, and I think they were only 100. And they even on Amazon got down to like in the 80s, I think. This is quite a bit more. I don't know. The N1, too, I'm pointing over here, the N1 Starfighter. I don't think the N1, I think the N1 maybe was 1 or 110. Do you guys remember the N1 that came with the Mando and the Grogu? But yeah, it does seem like the price escalated, didn't it? I am fairly certain that the TVC Jedi Temple Guard will be revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. I hope so. That'd be awesome. When did the Star Wars ships, how much was the TIE Fighter and the Power of the Force era? I think $15 maybe. I think, Jeff. I think. It's easier for us Canadians not to go for the ships because it's more expensive on the exchange rate. Yeah, I bet it is. That's not, that's not cheap for, any amount for anybody, I don't think. Damn, that Poe X-Wing is expensive these days. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I think I got mine for like $80, 85 on Amazon for my son. Poe Dameron's one of his favorite characters. And he actually got me this little, you can't see it, but he got me this little Poe Dameron X-Wing from Disneyland when he went. That's what's hanging up in my ceiling there. The new era Mr. Stevie teased forever ago. The new era Mr. Stevie? Is it? Yeah, that's the thing too. Did you guys happen to catch Mr. Stevie did a live stream on his own channel? I didn't watch the whole thing. But there was a part of it where he was answering questions. And I know because he can't really, like, even though he's on his own social media, he can't talk about some things, like internal Hasbro stuff. But I felt like he alluded to that the TVC was doing really well, and that the future looks bright for the TVC. Now, he's a businessman. He's not going to go all doomsday, but it felt genuine. I don't know if you guys watched it, how you felt about it, but it made me think that, I think the TVC is doing well. Even with their mismanagement sometimes about the rollouts and the pre-orders and the not totally giving us filling out team. The list goes on and on. I felt like he was kind of alluding to the fact that the TVC has a bright future and the line is doing really well, and keep buying the stuff and we'll keep making the stuff, kind of a pitch, which he should, right? Because his job, everything kind of depends on it too. But I didn't get that same feeling when he talked about the Black Series. The stream though that he did was about the history of 3.75. So, but inevitably, whenever we talk about Star Wars action figures, Black Series is always going to kind of pop up, because they're like the two competing lines. My hope is that this new era is the prequel era. Yeah, very, very underrepresented in TVC 2.0, isn't it? It really is. So many figures could use an update. A lot of mains too, like Amidala. Some of the Padme, different disguises. I still wish the figures were just a little bit bigger in TVC. Yeah. I was surprised. I tried to point this out in my Snowtrooper video, that the new Snowtrooper is actually a little bit bigger than the Legacy Collection ones. You don't always get an apple-to-apple, Legacy Collection figure and TVC figure. So I was a bit surprised that it was bigger, because inevitably I would think more plastic, it's bigger. Maybe it would cost a little more, but it was bigger. Still 3.75 and not 118, but a little bit bigger. Kid Anakin would be great. Yeah, there's a lot of figures, that they could do. The prequel is so underrepresented, man. So underrepresented. And it's right at that right time, too, because a lot of, you guys, I'm sure, I was a little bit older. I was 20 when Phantom Menace came out. Yeah, I was 19 or 20. So I was a little bit older, but I still get a nostalgia for that too, having, the Star Wars had come back. And I know those guys that were younger than I was, they were kids, they're in their 30s now. They are going to have that nostalgia like I did for the original trilogy with that. But I still get nostalgia for the prequels. Didn't Legacy have a wider stance? Yeah, there's a couple different versions. I have both of them in that video. And yeah, one of them has a crazy wide stance, but then there's a normal one. But it's taller, actually. The new TVC Snowtrooper is taller than both of them. I think I pointed out in the video. Oddly, I think the most TVC figures of prequel are actually Clone Wars. Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. They're Clone Wars, not even Attack of the Clones. They're Clone Wars, the show. You're right. I think you're right, Ian. I grew up with the prequels. Yeah, I feel like I did. I don't know if I told you guys. I know you guys give me, I'm offering up to be derision, but my actual favorite Star Wars movie of all time is Attack of the Clones. I know it gets rated the worst, and a lot of people, it's not, but it is my favorite movie of all time. I love it. I've gone. I went to the theater probably 6 or 7 times. That's the most I've ever gone to the theater to watch one movie. I went and saw Attack of the Clones like every week for like 6 or 7 weeks. And I was trying to get people to come with me. I went and saw it by myself. Then I went and took my brother to go see it. Then I took a couple of my buddies to go see it. Then I tried to talk another buddy in to come in to see it. And I just love Attack of the Clones, man. And that's why I think the Clone Wars. I I just love the Clone Wars. The cartoon, the show. It was everything that I wanted in Star Wars. The war, the battle, the whole thing. It was just great. Republic Commandos are at the very top of my list. Yeah, hopefully we get them. Hopefully we get them, man. But yeah, this looks great, man. This really does look good. It's just so darn expensive, man. It's just so, and this broken, shot up fin. It's a cool touch. I don't know if I'd use it, but it's nice. There adds a little bit to it, but it's so expensive. I probably will get one, but I'm probably gonna wait it out. Attack of the Clones is great fun. That's my favorite movie, Ian, of all time. I've seen it so many times. Um, that's my feel good movie. When I just want to watch something, uh, and kind of decompress. Attack of the Clones, man. I've seen it so many times. I love the music, everything about that, the love theme. Everything about it. I love everything about it. It was what I always wanted as a kid. All those Jedi's fighting and I still think too the lightsaber battle between Dooku and Obi-Wan and Anakin and Yoda, to me, it's probably my favorite lightsaber battle, right up there with Empire Strikes Back, and then when Darth Maul fought Pre Vizsla in the Clone Wars cartoon. I love that lightsaber battle. That was one of my. I've seen that so many times. Sentinel, welcome to the show. Clone Wars was a great show. I prefer the original Clone Wars to the CGI. You like the micro series? Yeah, that was cool too. Some great fights in that. Ventress versus Anakin was pretty awesome. In that one too. But I love that part of the era before Revenge of the Sith, but after Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith, the war, basically the war. I love that era. Just my favorite. Duel of Fates, exactly. Duel of Fates is great too. Love that music. The fight between Ahsoka and Darth Maul in 17 Clone Wars was really good too. Yes, it was. Yeah, I don't know why the Dooku one. I think it's why Empire is still really good to me too. Is the bad guy won. The bad guy won, and it doesn't always happen. In so many movies, and just pick your genre of whatever the movie. Eventually the good guy wins, but not in that movie. And I think I just love that. I always more attracted to the bad guys for some reason. They're I love to be the hero, but I just love how Dooku handled all of them. Um, Hot take: Ahsoka is overrated. You mean the show, the Disney Plus show, Bjorn? Or the Clone Wars season 7, her arc at the end. I rarely get into favorite Star Wars movie conversations. I don't want to flame war chat to the point where I would be like, that's why I'm always afraid to tell people Attack of the Clones is my favorite. You guys should be happy I opened up to you guys. I shared some personal. I love Attack of the Clones. That's my favorite movie. I just love it. I've seen it so many times. I used to put it on and go to sleep. I'd watch it every night before I went to bed. No, the character. Oh, okay. Ahsoka is like that wrestler that the company loves to push. Yeah. There's been a lot of rumors swirling around Lucasfilm right now, hasn't there? And I'm starting to see a little bit of backlash with Filoni and in turn Ahsoka. because that's kind of like his baby, you know, one of his babies that he just puts in the middle of everything. According to a lot of people, my choice is worse. Don't worry. Oh, okay. Okay, don't. I already think I know. I'm not gonna get you. I'm not gonna go there, Ian. Empire is one of the greatest movies ever made. Yeah, I love Empire too. I love Empire too. With the rumors that Filoni may be partially in charge, Ahsoka will get yeah, yeah, she will. Yeah, yeah, that's another subject. Maybe that'll be next week's topic. Next week's topic will probably be, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll let it play out. Um, I'm skipping the Snow Trooper 4-pack. I've got enough of them, but this is a great way for other people to get them. And I think someone said, and I glossed over it, I'm sorry. I think it's cheaper to buy them this way now, these four, than to buy them individually. I think. I didn't do the math. And you'll get those extra weapons. So this, if you miss this figure, this is probably the way to go. It is the exact same figure, they said. Just added that extra blaster. Great figure, guys. Great figure. Fiona will make Ahsoka the Ultra Chosen One. Yeah, he will. Yeah, I thought Sabine, Ezra, and Huyang were the real highlights of the Ahsoka series. Yeah, I felt like they overpowered Sabine. And I thought the show, the Ahsoka series, I felt like it peaked in the third episode when Sabine chooses to go to Peridia. That ending just was, again, it was like the bad guys kind of won. I was just like, wow. But I felt like it peaked right there, and it was a slow come down, and you know, there's some good action, but I thought it peaked right there at that scene, because too, Baylan, is it Baylan? Yeah, Baylan defeats Ahsoka. She falls into the water and all that. I never liked the Ahsoka character. Oh, really? You never liked Snips? They overpowered Rey also. Yeah, they did. I think Filoni is going to replace Luke with Ahsoka. That could be the plan. That could be the plan. All right, so that was the Star Wars news. We got re-release of some figures. We've got the new 6x9 card. We're getting away from that big card. We got the Snow Trooper 4-pack, and we got the TIE Advance. The only thing I probably want to get is the TIE Advance, but I'm probably going to hold out and wait because of the price. David Tennant was a great voice. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was great. Yeah, I like that guy. Okay, so what do I have next here? Oh, okay, let's go to this. Switching gears again. Boom, boom, boom. It looks like the packaging for the Creative Beast Studios Cyberzoic stuff, it looks like they're nearly ready. It looks like they're going to be at Joe Fest. So again, you guys at Joe Fest are going to get to see these in person. I did purchase this guy. I was backer kitted. You know, I was part of the Kickstarter, and I got her, and I got him, and this was actually the one creature that I got. This is the packaging. This is the one that I got. The saber-tooth tiger with Helena. Thought Ahsoka is going to take place of the Mortis. I thought Ahsoka is going to take the place of the Mortis daughter. Anakin as the father, thereby fulfilling the prophecy of the chosen and being one of the brings balance to the Force. That would be a way to get that in there, huh? If it isn't obvious, I don't like Ahsoka. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. If they're Jovas, I'm grabbing a few of those figures. Yeah, and I think they are. Or at least they're going to have these there so you can see them. It says I'll have these in hand soon, and we'll have them on display at Joe Fest next weekend. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, you guys will have first dibs, first, you know, chance to grab these. They look awesome. But yeah, I got each of the figures, and then the only creature that I got was this one. So I thought that was kind of cool that he actually, this was the one he showed fully, inside and outside. Looks pretty awesome. So it looks like they're going to be there. They resized the tiger in a smaller 1/18 scale on BBTS, or they released. Okay, we get it. You don't like Ahsoka, yeah. These look good though. I'm excited. I've never gotten anything from these guys before, so I don't know. I've seen a lot of interviews with them. I know Rad. I haven't seen Rad in a while here in one of the live streams, but I know he had them on. Yeah, they look great. They look cool. The Marauders, Dino Hunters, yeah, and they look like they would go really well with this. Yeah, these could be anything you want. They're just sci-fi enough. Why not? Or fantasy. You got the creature with all the, you don't have to run them with all the armor. Re-released. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I haven't, I really haven't looked at Big Bad for quite a while. Just because the prices, I feel like they're really lucky they've got the, what would you say, the exclusivity of the Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff, because that, I can't get those anywhere else, and I am going to get those. So they got me hook, line, and sinker. I don't have a option. I can't go anywhere else. But for the other stuff, I do look. I do look for the best deal. I look for the best price, just like you guys probably do. So I have not gotten anything from Big Bad for quite a while. When they have exclusives, they have some Boss Fight Studio exclusive stuff I got through them. Sergeant Bananas or Sergeant the Monkey, Fresh Monkey Fiction again. So yeah, they're and that's fine. That I know they're reliable, and the pile of loot is very helpful. But just lately, kind of like when we were looking at the Micromen or the Micromen, if you could find them somewhere else, it's kind of tough to drop an extra $30 on something just to help them out. It's a lot of money. Major Coco, that's what it is. Yeah, Major Coco. So yeah, it looks like these guys are going to be there. I'm not sure if they're doing a presentation or anything. It'd be interesting if they were. Maybe when you guys can get an interview with one of the guys there or something. Very cool though. Very cool. I'm looking forward to this. I can't remember when. Oh, here we go. When are these expected to ship? Late July. So not too long from now. I know it's not the full wave. It's just some of them. But this was the big one for me, and it looks like it's gonna ship in July. So that's nice. It's not that long away. All right. I want to talk about this. Did you guys see this from Level 7 Toys? This is also going to be available at Joe Fest. This looks like a pickup, guys. I don't know how high Batman is on your list, but this looks like a must-have. Just past 3 a.m. Oh, Ian, yeah, I understand. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for stopping by, Ian. I do appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Thanks for sticking it out. I kind of thought this one was going to go long. There's a lot of news. I'm always really excited to do this live stream, so I just go, and I'm so happy you guys have come to watch and hang out with me. But have a good night. Yeah, Batman Level 7 Toys, soft goods cape, looks like a real rope grappling hook, multiple hands. This looks awesome, guys. July is also the projected release of some of the Marauders NAMM figures. Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Yeah, this Batman looks great. And I do have one level 7 figure, and they're crazy articulated. They're really, really good, guys. I only have one, and it's like a blank military one. It's a really good figure. I was going to do a video on it, but he is just a blank figure in a bag, and he didn't come with any accessory. It would have been like maybe it'd be good for like a short if I did shorts. But it's super articulated, super posable, really good quality. Um, this looks like another level though. The card back, soft goods. Um, this looks awesome. This looks awesome. I would definitely, if you guys are there, I would try to grab this. They don't make, as far as I know, to level 7. It's even smaller than, and I could be wrong about this. I think they're even smaller. It's just a couple guys, I think. Doing it. They don't even have like a big bad, or they don't have any backing from anyone else, as far as I know. They are their own thing, and they do good work. They do good stuff. This figure looks phenomenal. Really want this one. This one looks great. So the Axel Foley and this figure, I would, if I was going to Joe Fest, I think these would be my first two stops. I can't imagine level 7 is going to have that many, because I think they are a smaller company. I would imagine hopefully they have a few hundred of these. But I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I hope I am, because I hope these are available to everyone. But this figure looks awesome. This figure looks awesome. I love this. I like there's a lot of different Batman colors and looks that I like, but I've always really liked this look, this blue look. The blue on gray with the yellow. Looks really good, but I saw this, I had to talk about it. It looks awesome. Hopefully one of you guys will grab it. Hopefully there's enough to go around. All right, and the last item before we get into our deep dive with the Grindhouse toys, Toy Pizza. I don't know if I've talked to you guys a lot about Toy Pizza. I did do a video on the Ron, I think his name was Ron, that I ordered from Toy Pizza. This figure that we're looking at in this picture, it looks like it uses most of the same buck as the Ron. I did do a video on it. It's my first time ever purchasing something from Toy Pizza. For you guys that don't know, Toy Pizza is an independent toy maker. He specializes in 3.75, 1/18 scale Glyos action figures. For you guys that don't know Glyos, real quickly, it's an articulation system. It's usually 5 points. All the arms, legs, and heads are usually interchangeable with each other, so it doesn't matter who makes the figure. As long as it's Glyos compatible, you can pop and swap. But they're mostly 5 points. The reason I picked up the Ron was because he's not. He's super articulated. And I'm pointing out that they just this week, he put up on the Toy Pizza website a couple new figures. Like, this is a Glyos. This is a 5 points type figure. And so is this. But this one right here, and the first one that I showed you, they are super articulated. So I don't know why some of them are super articulated, some of them aren't. But I'm mostly interested, and I'm pointing out to you guys the super articulated ones. But you're welcome. I mean, why not? Background characters, whatever you want to do. If you like to pop and swap. But this one, and I thought this guy looked a lot like Lex Luthor in the armor if it was green. But this guy looks really cool. He comes with an extra hand and a helmeted head. But I wanted to put it up because these guys are really small batch too. He almost always sells out. They actually have a action figure like monthly subscription that you can sign up for, and you get first dibs on it because they do sell out. He's only, I think, offering these up because these are what's left from the 5 points fest. Was like a action figure convention, mostly of guys doing Glyos and 5 points type figures. These are, I think he said that these are kind of leftovers from that. They were exclusive, just like we're kind of looking at some of those exclusives to the Joe Fest. He has some left. He put them up. They're a little bit more expensive than if you were at the convention or if you were a part of the subscription. But these look really good. Figures come in like a baggie, and it was really cool. He sent the baggie with the figures. There was extra accessories, and he actually sent like trading cards, and there was something else in there too, maybe a sticker. But he threw in some extras when you purchase from, because these are pretty expensive. They're like $40. Yeah, but I'm all about the articulated stuff. So I wanted to point this out to you. If you go to the Toy Pizza website, I believe this guy's still up, and there's some other ones too based on this buck. This is a really good buck. He comes in different colors. He'll have different heads, different accessories. But I just want to put that out there. It's Toy Pizza. Cool, man. It's like, I think again, at Toy Pizza is like one guy. I think it's like one guy, maybe like two guys. I think he's based out of New York. I think. Can't remember his name now. But nice dude, nice dude. I went to one of his live streams once because I think he does music as well. But this figure looks really cool. So this is one I'm going to try to get. Or I did get, I should say. I should just tell you, I did order this one. But they're not cheap. They're not cheap. But, it's a small... When they sell out, they sell out. He doesn't... I don't think he really does reruns. So, if you're interested at all, Toy Pizza, I think it's toypizza.com. Let me just click on that. Oh, it's not going. There it goes. I think it's toypizza.com. It's a cool little site. It's all GLiOS compatible type stuff. There's some cool figures. But you got to usually have to be a part of that club. Here's examples, some more of them, but that GLiOS, it's that GLiOS compatible plan. But I wanted to point that out to you, and that was the end of my news that I had. Let's move on. Are they above $25? I think most of them are 25 or above. Yeah. And the super articulated ones are like 40. But the regular ones, I think they are about 25. But then, you got shipping. But he does, like I mentioned, he does throw in like a few like extra stuff, like a sticker and some cards and a couple extra things. At least the time that I bought from them, that's what he did. And I'm nobody. He doesn't know who I am. It was my first time purchasing from him, so I'm kind of assuming that he does that for everyone. But they were actually like trading cards of different characters. He creates his own stories and his own characters, and they have their own backstories. He has his whole running story going, and those figures, he creates figures from his story, and then he puts them up. And a couple of these World War Hell figures. Oh yeah. So let's see, if I refresh this, let's see where the total is now. Oh, it's about the same. Okay. Whoops. Get that out of there. Yeah, so he's 2/3 of the way there. He's almost there. Lots of time left. 27 days. I did back this at the 4 figures. You get your pick of 4 figures. That was the one I jumped in, and then I added 1. So I'm hoping to get 5 figures from this Kickstarter. I think I'm pretty confident. I think you guys would agree with me that this is going to fund. I do think this is going to happen. It'd be interesting to see what the stretch goals are, because he hasn't shown all the stretch goals yet. I avoid O-ring like the plague. So, Tech, that's a good point. I usually do too. But what I find different about these, and it's like intriguing to me, is he seems to be the first one. I think his name is Chris, the guy who runs Grindhouse. he's doing them in a realistic style, and it's probably because the subject matter, right? It's zombies, but they're realistic. Where most of the O-ring stuff that we've been getting now, whether it's Delta 17 or the Super 7 Reaction Plus, maybe even the Skeletron figure, they're a little bit more cartoony, and that's fine. That's totally okay. It's cool. What I found kind of different was he's doing these in a very realistic look. He's added a ton of articulation to make them more modern, which is one thing that I've had a problem with the couple of O-rings that I bought. They have no ankle, and the foot almost has to be flat, and you can only get any kind of emotion out of the upper body. He put rocker ankles on O-rings. It seems so like, yeah, of course, why wouldn't you put a rocker on an O-ring? But no one ever seems to do it. I'm not really an O-ring guy, but these are dope. Yeah, but these are enhanced O-rings. That's right. So I think we've got, what, bicep swivel, rocker ankles. It looks like with this one, it looks like it has an overlay over the O-ring, so it's not even exposed, so you can't see it. There are the pins in the shoulders, though. I know a lot of people don't like the pins in the shoulder or the elbow. Well, here, let's since we're talking articulation, he has one of those blow up drawings that you can see here. Yeah, so does have a couple extra points. I mean, you could see there on the neck. It looks like it's a ball hinge at the head, but it also has the hinge at the neckline. So he added that. That's an extra point there. Got the swivel that we talked about. But I think the most important thing is the rocker ankle. And I think I'm leaving out the wrist, right? Yeah, there's a hinge at the wrist as well. I honestly, it feels like if I was like counting the articulation, the only thing he's missing is the or not the bicep, the thigh swivel. But I think if you have the rocker ankle, you can kind of get away with not having that. At least that's what I think. I don't know if you guys feel that way. Is the thigh swivel, is that a deal breaker for you, not having the thigh swivel? Because the rocker ankle to me is the most important thing. Even if the wrists didn't move, the wrists weren't articulated, the fact that you can, because all of the other ones I have, the feet have to be flat or they just won't stand. You can't get in any kind of dynamic pose because the feet have to be level. And if it's an O-ring with nothing in the knee, nothing, no thigh swivel, the ankle becomes so important to get more than just a vanilla pose out of them. So these look good. I don't know why someone didn't think of this earlier, but they look really good. Let's go back to the top. We'll kind of go through them each. I think this is the first one here, the corpse. It's an O-ring figure with more articulation. It is. It's an O-ring with nearly all modern articulation by adding those. What do we add? The extra point at the neck, the bicep swivel, the wrist, and the ankle. So I think that makes it, is it 9 points? Might be more than that. I'm not going to complain with no thigh cut. Yeah, I don't think so either. As long as you got the rocker ankle, makes a difference. Yeah, I'm posing. That's what I was thinking too. Yes, Tech, they are expensive. Yeah, they are. That's there's no getting around that. He's trying to get this off the ground. That is a pretty expensive price point to come in for your first one. But he thinks he's weighed all the costs. That must be his. He's got to make a little bit off the top. I also like the liberal use of the chainsaws. Yeah. The guy, the one guy has the chainsaw with the 50 cal. We'll look at that. It's a little bit lower. Yeah, and these are gruesome. I'm not really into horror or like scary stuff, so these zombies and stuff don't really appeal to me. Um, but yes, bloody chainsaws, blown off heads. I mean, just I want to point out one thing too is I thought this was interesting. Here at the top, he says a vintage inspired 118. So he points out here it's 118, but then if you go down here, he says 3 3/4, which is 375. So I think they're actually 375. They're not 118 because he uses side by side comparisons. But I thought it was interesting at the top he wrote 118 when if you're here you know 118 375 they're not the same. They're compatible and we collectors use the 118 375 kind of interchangeably, but there is a difference. Pinker, welcome Pinker. You're not late. You're right on time. You're right on time. But when you go down to when he compares them to other lines, these are 375. Especially here, you can see this is a 19. This is from the 90s, the 80s Joe, and they're the same height. So this is a 375 line, rather than 118. Just wanted to point that out. I think, like Pirates, I know you probably would prefer them to be, if you were going to get them, like the Star Wars stuff, just to be 118, right? Rather than 375, because the male figures tend to be small. The females, it's not quite as noticeable, but the male figures do tend to be a bit small. I really want the translucent blue one, yeah. A lot of sites confuse the scale. They do. And even as a collector, I always say a 118 or 375 kind of interchangeably. But I there is a difference, but it's kind of throwing the different term. If you had to explain it every time, you guys are, if you're here, the difference. You know what we're talking about. I would prefer, but I don't mind having different size figures as long as they have proper articulation. I'm good with that. Yeah, me too. Me too. I find a way to get my 375 and 118. I mix all of them together. As long as they're in that 375 or 118, they're good in my world. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep going back. So we looked at the corpse figure. I think this is the one I want the most. This Sergeant Graves. I added this guy. Did the select 4 figures, and then I added a Sergeant Graves to it. So I'm gonna get at least one Sergeant Graves, maybe more, maybe a second one. But this guy I think is the one I wanted the most. 118 is actually a couple different sizes. Is it? I just say 375 versus 4-inch. To me, they're both failure. Yeah, they're both 118. And most people know what you mean. I mean, some people say 375, some people say 3/4. Same exact thing, right? Just kind of the terminology that you want to use. But it is interesting that he uses both in this Kickstarter. But I would say that it looks like they're actually 375. But why couldn't, this is just a soldier. Why couldn't he be, just a little bit shorter? We're all different heights. But I think this is the one I want the most. I added this guy on. Awesome weapons. The sword looks awesome. I don't think I'll probably use this dude as a soldier, and I'll give this sword and flame and all this to another figure, a Boss Fight Studio figure, or some kind of fantasy figure. But this is the one I think I want the most. There's also the translucent one. Pirates, I think you just mentioned this. I've never been big on translucent. There's that 50 cal with a chainsaw, and it's got the nose art on it, like the nose art from a World War II fighter plane or bomber or something, with the flamethrower. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. I've never been a big on translucent stuff, so this isn't for me. But it's a pretty cool idea. It's a pretty cool idea, I have to admit. Um, very creative, you know. And that's the thing about this guy, this Grindhouse Toys. And it's further down. I'll just jump to it right now. Um, when he talks about the packaging, when I did my video on the Necromancer, I love Star Wars The Vintage Collection. It's my favorite packaging. But I will wholeheartedly admit the Necromancer packaging, this one right here that we're looking at, this is the best action figure packaging I've ever gotten. And I think I say that in the video. This is easily the best packaging I've ever gotten for a 118 375 inch figure. Easily. From the cover art, the package itself, how it was packed inside, you could tell that someone really, really thought about it. Every little piece of it, you know, and every image that you see, all the text. It looks like these figures are going to be in that same mold, or mold is probably not the best word, but in that same style of VHS tape. You can line them up. They're going to have an image on one side. This is like the best packaging. I know people, they're meant to be opened, and you know, they should. But I would be surprised if someone opened that packaging up and threw it away. Because that packaging is so nice. Even if you were just going to display it with the figure or not, or, you know, such a good packaging. This guy deserves all the credit for the packaging. 30 caliber, 50 has a longer barrel. Okay, good to know. I want to try to add a light to him so he glows. Yeah, he might, huh? Necromancer and the Dark Dread Trooper are the only packaging I display with my figures. Yeah, and I think, because I have the Dread Trooper too, Bob, I think the Necromancer one's better though. They're both really good, but this one is just so good. Just so good. I just, this packaging was so awesome. I think I told you guys this story when I showed it to my brother. I showed him the package, and the first thing he said was, "Do you even have anything that will play that?" He really thought it was a VHS tape. And I was like, "No, check this out." And I showed him. He's like, "Oh, that's cool." But when I showed it to him, he actually thought it was a VHS tape and was like, "What are you going to do with that? Like, how are you even going to play it?" And I was like, "No, check it out." And he was caught off guard. It was a happy surprise. But yeah, the packaging for this stuff is awesome. And I assume, you know, that's worked into the price. It's got to be. That's a lot of packaging. That's a lot of time spent designing it. Slip cover. You know, it's got the tray inside. I don't know that these ones will, but I would imagine that $38. This one's 30 here for the green guy. It's got to be, you know, part of the price. I was trying to remember how to say this name. Cerebus. I think it's how you say it. Cerebus. This is the other one I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get the Sergeant Graves, not to be confused with Sergeant Spectre, and this guy, Cerebus. I'm gonna grab, these are the ones I'm grabbing. Necromancer is better. It even won an award. Did it win an award? I could see that. If they give out awards for packaging, that one is like over the top. Like next level packaging. I remember just looking at it going, this is so good. Like, I can't believe someone took the time to do this. But this Cerebus guy, again, another chainsaw there. Yeah, these are the guys. These two I'm getting. And hopefully, I'm going to pass on these green guys. Jeff, you probably remember this. The Pia Club, the Acid Rain, they have a lot of these green Acid Rain soldiers. And though I have an affinity for Army Men, I used to play with a lot of Army Men when I was a kid, I don't really want my figures in that look or that color. So I've never got any of the Acid Rain stuff that's green. I wouldn't, you know, this is a pass for me. But it's crazy is how many accessories he comes with. It kind of tells you that, and it's cheaper. That a lot of that money is on the paint apps. You know, to for these guys, all the paint apps that these guys have. Maybe not him as much. Maybe not him as much either. But the flesh tone and the face. I mean, maybe it seems like you get way more accessories, and he's $8 less. So there must be something in the manufacturing that causes that. He can give you all of it, and everything's green. You know, no paint apps on any of the accessories, but not really for me. But they're cool. They're cool. Helmets with the neck look really good. Yeah, the World War II helmet. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah, that does look cool. Yeah, Asterain did a Green Army Man, a Jeep 2, I think. Yeah, yeah, and I've seen those, and they're a little bit better priced than a lot of the Acid Rain stuff, but it just doesn't fit with what I'm doing. But they're cool. They're cool. But this one, you know, I'd probably pass for me on this one. These ugly looking dudes. The Decapitators. Not my thing. Does remind me of the Robo Skull, the little Skeledrones. It looks too like they're articulated in the same points. So right at each like knuckle. So this leg here looks like it has 3 points of articulation in it. Very gory, you know, not my thing, not my thing, but they're cool. And as an add-on, I think that's the same price too as what the Skeledrones were, 19 for 4, I think, or was it 19 for 3? So I think you actually get an extra one here. But yeah, I mean, if you're doing a zombie scene, demonic parasite, yeah, that's what they look like. You'll lose your head, Decapitators, yeah. Just everything is so thought out with this line, you know. Everything that Grindhouse has done, you can tell the guy, it's a labor of love. You can really tell it comes through in everything, in the sculpt, the paint, the packaging. Very cool, very cool. I guess they're actually light skin and a dark skin. Okay, yeah, so they're actually, all 4 of these are different. There's a skull with no hair. There's the 3 with hair, but they all have different skin tones or flesh tones. So they're actually all different. The Skeledrones were all exactly the same, and there was only 3 of them. The Grindhouse toy is a play on the Nabisco logo. Yeah, this one right here almost looks like a box of cereal, doesn't it? If this wasn't so gory. It looks like this type of writing, is it Count Chocolate? Count, what's his name? I forget the name now. But the cereal that has it's around Halloween time. So that kind of looks like that font that he's using here. Count Chocolate? I forgot his name. It's gonna kill me now. Can never remember when I need to. Decapitators with Skeledrones will be happening. All right, there you go. There you go. Yeah, Nabisco. Yeah. Is that what it is, Nabisco? Yeah. Stretch goals. So, very good crackers. Yeah. So the first stretch goal here, it looks like there's more, because he does mention the name here of this Revenant Horde Trooper, but he doesn't show it. And I think in one of the posts that he had on Instagram, he said they'll be revealed as they unlock or as they get closer. I think the plan is to have the Decapitators packaging like movie candy boxes. Oh, El Chocolate. Is that what it is? Yeah. Yeah, he's like the vampire one, but he's chocolate. But yeah, first stretch goal here, 97,000. It's a lot of money, guys. I think he can do it. If this stretch goal opens up, I think I will grab this one. I like the masked head here. I would use that over these 3. I'd pop that guy on there, and he's got a cape there. It looks like it's soft goods. It might not be. Let's look if it's there. Yep, wired, and it's wired. So hopefully this one unlocks. If this one unlocks, I'll grab this one. I'll throw this one in. I don't see the Steamboat Willie. Yeah, I noticed that too. I think that's got to be one of the next unlocks. Um, Man, I hope we get there. I hope this really takes off. It's looking really good. There's a lot of time. And I think if you guys remember last year, Count Chocula. That's it. Count Chocula. You're right, Pirates. That's what it was. I had a girlfriend whose mother worked at Nabisco Factory, so we got fresh samples. Oh, that's cool. Looks like the puppets from the Scary Movie. Yeah. Yeah, this one. This face right here. Like a cutout face. Yeah, you're right. The Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie. It's not showing that here. Oh, that's what I was trying to say. I'm sorry. And now I'm getting caught up in my thoughts. It seemed like last year. I'm trying to remember what it was. Something was also. They get a bump. They get the Joe Con bump. You know, they're displaying there at this Joe Fest, and they get a bump in their Kickstarter because so many people are there and they buy in once they see it in person. So I'm guessing Joe Fest that this thing is gonna jump. Now, will it how high? I don't know, but I do believe that this will fund. I don't know how many unlocked stretch goals we'll get to, but I think the Joe Fest is really gonna push this one over the top. If it's not there before Joe Fest, which is still a week or so away, it's tracking really well for only being up. If it went up Friday, we'll count Friday. It's only been up not even 3 whole days yet, or just about 3 days, and it's already 3/4 of the way there. I do think it's gonna fund. I do. Hopefully we get some more unlocks. If that Steamboat Willie one comes up, if the Mickey Mouse, I would grab that one too. I would up my pledge, I think, or reconsider what I had thought I was going to do with the Cerebus and the Sergeant. Forget his name now, but the other guy. It's going to be funded before Joe Fest, in my opinion. I hope so, because then when it gets that bump from Joe Fest, it will hopefully hit one of these stretch goals right off the bat. Look at that grind right there, Grindhouse Toys 666. I mean, that's what I mean. Like every little piece of this packaging, everything is just well thought out, well designed. Even the old Toys R Us sticker here. You guys remember the old Toys R Us sticker? That's what that looks like to me. Just cool stuff, man. But yeah, Colonel Malum. I think that's how you say that. Colonel Malum unlocks at 97,000. 97 is still almost 20,000 more than the fund. So it's a lot of money to get to this guy. But I think we're gonna do it. I'm with you, Bjorn. I think we're gonna do it. I already told you guys I jumped in. We looked at articulation. We looked at packaging. He does a size comparison. I think the packaging's awesome. There he is, Cerebus. Looks like there's going to be an image on the side, and he says something in here. As stretch goals are unlocked, it will unveil a new section of the scene. So there's more to it here. These are probably the first 4 here, right? And there's some more here. Stretch goals, stretch goals, stretch goals. So it looks like, if I'm counting this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's, I'm guessing again. Looks like there's 6 stretch goals. We see the 1. We know about Steamboat Willie. We know about the Mickey Mouse. So that leaves 4 left? 4 or 5 left? So this thing, if it gets legs, this thing could, it could go really far. But I do think that Joe Fest is going to give it a bump. So I do think we should fund at least through Joe Fest. How far, I don't know. Does anyone want to anybody want to throw a number out there? I know, Jeff, last time for Chicken Fried Toys, you were pretty close. I think you hit, didn't you? I can't remember. But I think you were right, Jeff. You hit. You were right on on the Chicken Fried Toys one that we looked at. So I am just not sure, you know. Tech said, you know, and these are O-rings. They're a bit expensive, so they're not for everyone. Um, but I think you can see my pledge right there. I do think it's gonna fund. There's plenty. There's a whole, pretty much a month left, so it will still have a week or so after Joe Fest. You know, I'm sure a lot of people um, that haven't seen the Kickstarter will see it there, and it looks awesome, man. It looks awesome. I'm excited about this one, and I don't really collect a lot of O-rings, so um, this doesn't look. It does look a little bit better, and I think for me because it's more realistic than some of the other O-rings that we have funded. I know Call Sign Longbow, um, and Operation Recall. They've been. I think they're going to be at Joe Fest too, and they've been showing off a lot of stuff in the last week or so. We could probably take a look at some of that if you guys want. Um, but this one appeals to me in a different way because it's realistic looking, where those other ones are like homages to the Real American Hero line. These are, you know, much more realistic looking, and they hide the O-ring I think a little bit better. The overlay. We'll see. We'll see what comes of it. But I'm guessing I haven't really followed O-ring Kickstarter campaigns. Anyone know how high the most successful campaign was? You know, I think it was Operation Recall, the one that Carson's doing. One of you guys, is it Recall or is it Call Sign Longbow? I think it's Recall. I think it got to a 400,000, I believe. In fact, let's look at that because he mentions it. He mentions it in one of his updates. I think it actually got up to like 400,000. Let's see. Oh, that's my name. You're not supposed to see my name. That's not it. That's against the rules. Hold on a sec, guys. I gotta go back now. You're not supposed to see my real name. It's not Tony Creek. You know that though, right? Hold on. There we go. Let me pull it up. You know, see my real name. When you guys hack me, come in there. Now I've got to expunge that from the replay. Let's see. Where is it? Operation Recall was Was it 415? Yeah, Recall is the one Carson's doing. Yeah. I mean, they made a ton. He did it. But that's why it's taking so long. That's why I've given him so much space, because it went from, it went from like 6 or 8 figures to like 20, 25 or something like that. It was a lot. Yeah, there you go. Call sign along. It was 200,000. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, but those two lines, or those two Kickstarters, they were both homages to the Real American Hero G.I. Joe line. This one, World War Hell, it's really not. You know, it uses the O-ring, but it's got really the look of the figures, the story behind it has nothing to do with, you know, the Real American Hero. Too late signing up for weird sites. No, I think I can show you now because I logged in. You'll see all the other things that I've backed, which is fine. It's actually not showing me. Oh, here we go. This might be interesting to some of you guys. Let's see. I've got to go back to this one. Yeah, so this might actually be interesting to some of you guys if you're interested. So there's my Grindhouse Toys pledge. And I've been reading Zen the Bounty Hunter, the Intergalactic Ninja. I don't know if you guys even know who that is. It's a comic book. But I've backed it a couple times. I've backed a few of the Zen the Bounty Hunters comic books. I don't read or buy that many comics. But I have been grabbing these. World War Hell needs a haunted tank. Yeah. vehicles. That would be cool. Yeah, Sentinel. I think we talked one time about Zen. Yeah, he's cool. Intergalactic Ninja. If you don't know who Zen the Bounty Hunter is, look it up. It's really cool. You guys are probably familiar with the command files from GI Joe. They do the bios and all that. These guys, I have all of the volumes. This is like the second one, but I did the other Kickstarter, so I'm doing the second one. So I already have volume 1. This is volume 2. There's a guy that I think he's actually a college professor, and he's been doing trading cards to the Blue Beetle, but like the classic Blue Beetle from like the 1930s and 40s. And I have backed his Kickstarters, $25 each time. He's done a lot of them. There's my Chicken Fried Toys pledge. This 4-color mystery pack. That's the same guy who does the Blue Beetle. He does cards, trading cards of the covers and sells from these old Blue Beetle and like Golden Age superheroes. And I'm kind of interested in like Golden Age superheroes, when like stuff was a little more superhero-y, the guy always got the girl. There's always a damsel in distress. That's why I like Attack of the Clones. I like a very classic love story. I like a classic. I'm one of those kind of guys. I don't need to see all the nudity. I don't need to see all the blood and the gore. It's like a really good kind of classic good versus evil type story. A lot of those old Golden Age comic books are like that. So these trading cards are they touch on that. And he's up to like 6 or 7 packs now. Here's my Chicken Fried Toys pledge. He's going to be at Joe Fest, right? You guys get to see some of his stuff there. There's another comic book I backed. Where I'm trying to go. See, there's the another one of those G.I. Joe action reports. I got a lot of G.I. Joe stuff. More of the packs. There's my Beast of Cyberzoic. Look at that. I'm all in on that line, man. That's why I keep talking about it, because I'm really invested in that line. That's why I keep talking about it, and I'm excited for it, because I'm pretty invested in it. I jumped in on that line. Abby, I haven't seen Abby. Abby hasn't come. Abby normally, I know she's been on Rad's show a couple times, and she's been on Pirates. I think she really enabled me to jump into the Cyberzoic dinosaur Kickstarter a year or so ago. And I haven't talked to her in a while. If you guys talk to her, tell her to come by. I have to message her. But yeah, she really got me hyper focused on that last year. More Eagle Force trading cards. I don't know. Did you guys I know you guys like Eagle Force. Did you guys grab the trading cards when they were up here on Kickstarter? Sounds like Devil Bargains Toys will be previewing some Golden Age figures such as Joe Fest. Oh, okay. Cool. Oh, yeah. That was the Kickstarter. I did see that guy, yeah, and that Kickstarter didn't get off last year. I remember talking about it, and he did say he was going to be there with painted test shots. Some more Eagle Force stuff here. There's Lamore Supreme. That was also Zen the Bounty Hunter. There's my order for In the Navy, those O-rings Navy figures. Here is my Legends of the Hidden Force. Haven't seen those in a while. Yeah, Abby's a big fan. Yeah, she was on your channel. I got the Eagle Force trading cards. Yeah, they're cool, huh, Bob? I look at those all the time and I go, oh, I want him. Oh, I want him. I hope they make him. Because there's a lot of like old school characters in there. And a lot of them I have the figures of, which was cool. And I was like, oh, that goes with the figure. Which was basically the card art, right? The figure came with the card art, but the back had like a bio. They're really cool cards. Not a Kickstarter. This is Ed Hellman, who does the Eagle Force Compatible. Oh, okay. The Bullet Head guy. Yes, I never got that figure. I wish I would have. I know Bob has it. I think I've seen it on Bob's Instagram. Sky Pirate guy. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, if he has any of those bullet guys, man, I grab those too. Another comic book. We're starting to get a couple years ago now. You can see how a couple years ago. More action report. I don't know these GI Joe books. Did you guys get any of these GI Joe books? A couple of them. I have them over here. They show all of the classic, the figures with the packaging, the file cards, the variations. So you can actually. And they go all the way up to the most modern, movie ones that we got. Always in 118 though. It's not for classified, but they go from the old school ones, not the 12-inch ones, but like the Real American Hero, the 3 3/4 O rings, all the way up to the modern figures from the last movie. Action Force Redux, Operation Recall. There's my Operation Recall order. When is that? So yeah, look at that. I paid that December of 23. So still waiting on that one. And there's my call sign Longbow right there. Around the same time, look at that. December 23. Oh, that's delivery. Wow. Yeah, we're a little off on that one. That's delivery. I thought that's when I paid. So it was early 23 then when I did that. And so same thing with the call sign Longbow here. But you can see I got 5 call sign Longbow figures. I got 6 Operation Recall figures. Battle Grapple. This was a comic book that Dave Wonder, he's a toy tuber, but he's also a comic book illustrator. He does a live stream. I think Sentinel, I think you know who Dave Wonder is. This was a comic book that he worked on. So I did grab that one. It's really interesting. It's like wrestling out in space on another planet. It's its own story. It was actually quite interesting, but I only got the number 1. Here's Carson's book. This was the omnibus hardcover. I think a couple of you guys got this. That book is like 20 pounds, man. It's a huge book. This was a really good deal because it's expensive now. He does lives. Yes, he does lives. He doesn't do videos, does he? No, he doesn't. Every year he says he's going to do a video, and he never really does. He does live streams, but he's a nice guy, and he does a lot of fundraising for sick kids that have cancer and stuff. So he's got a big heart. He's a good guy. Roboskull. There's my Roboskull order. I actually did a second one, so this isn't all of it. This was just what I backed when I backed it. This one I felt like I got burned on. This is the only Kickstarter that I have to say I was super, super disappointed. And you can see, look, I got the sad face right there. Only time I ever used the sad face. Dave Wonder live streams many times a week. Doesn't do 118. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Though, he was one of the guys, though, Jeff. One of the only times he's ever done 118 was for the Joy Toy Turtles, because he loves turtles. And that was one of the things that was so striking to me about those turtles was guys like him that don't even talk about 118 or think about 118. It's not even, but man, when those turtles came out, they were all over him. They were talking about him every week. He was one of the guys that when that happened, I was like, wow, these Joy Toy Turtles are really making noise in the community, to guys that never even talk about 118 or 375. They don't even, like Robo, that doesn't, if it's smaller than 6 inch, they don't even talk about it. But that was the only time he's really ever talked about 118. Dave Wonder was the Joy Toy stuff for the Turtles. But this heavy water universe, there's a story behind it. I guess I could share it. There's the blue milk. Did you guys? I'll do this. I'll tell you guys a story if you guys have time. This was the Blue Milk Star Wars Vintage Collection archive book. I got one of those, and look at this. This is what I told you guys. I have a lot of Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. This was the second Kickstarter, because this is the first one. And then this was when I did the Mighty Steeds. And this was the initial Chicken Fried Toys one that I did. And this is the Zika Toys one that I did. And Zika Toys was the first Kickstarter I ever backed. So that's kind of my Kickstarter history there. And again, the only bad experience I've really ever had was this one, this Heavy Water Universe. I guess I could tell you the story. It's a quick one. Several 120 guys love those turtles and Warhammer. Yeah, it's the only time I've seen a lot of those 112 guys kind of branch out to 118 and give it the respect it deserves. But the Heavy Water Kickstarter. So, how did it go? You can see it was expensive to me. It was $200 back in 2021. So I think I could talk about this now. It was a long time ago, 4 years ago almost. So this guy put up it was a 118 375 figure line, and they were mostly 5 points, and it was this own guy's creation. He has an Instagram page. If you want to talk to him, you can. I'm not saying this for you guys to do that. Please don't. But he offered a spaceship, and some figures. I really only wanted the ship. Of course, the ship was the most expensive. Sending love. Hey, Ben. Ben, thanks for stopping by. I think I'm on the last thing I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to take off. But thank you for stopping by. That Damn Figure Show. You guys subscribe to Ben. He's got a great channel. I hate they abandoned 118 for 112. I know. That's another story. Maybe that's the story I should tell. So I reached out to Animal Warriors of the Kingdom because you could see I'm heavily invested, right? That was like, what was it, like $400? $265, $160. Yeah, so I'm like $400 into Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. And then they switched on me. They went to 112. And I reached out to them on Instagram. I think his name's Jason. I think it's Jason. I can't remember. Jason Bienvenu? I can't remember. I reached out to him and said, hey, man, what happened? And he said, well, I'm going to go back to 118 eventually, but I need to sell all of the stock that I have of 118 before I attempt to do it again. He sold it all. If you go to his page, they don't have any of it for sale anymore. I think he was just kind of telling me that. He was just being very diplomatic and said, hey, man, I know. I'm not doing 118 anymore, but I'll get back to it one day. Oh, one of my lights went out. But he hasn't, and that was a couple years ago. He went to 112. More power to him. That's where the money is. The line really, really took off when he went to 112. But I was heavily invested in the 118 side of it. So I was, obviously disappointed. But it is what it is. I've still got all the figures. And they're great. So, and they're quite expensive now in the aftermarket. Mythic Legions built at 118, switched to 112 before launch. Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy. I know that would have been nuts if we could have got Mythic Legions at 118. Wow. That would have been collector changing type thing. Because they have great stuff. They have great stuff. Their creatures are really good. I have never gotten anything, but I watch Dork Lair sometimes, and I watch 1/6 Shooter, and I just watch them because they talk about Mythic Legions, and it's an interesting kind of thing for me to, because I know I'm not going to buy any of them, so I don't feel any FOMO or anything when I look at them, but they love that line, and it seems like the guys that collect that line are super loyal to the brand. They're like super loyal, which is great. It's great. But I'll tell you the Heavy Water story another time. I don't want to take up your time, especially with a bad story about someone or something. But that's the only Kickstarter that I've ever done that I felt burnt on, that I felt like I shouldn't have done. It wasn't worth it, and I'll never do any other Kickstarter that guy does again. So, it would get Boss Fight. Yeah, they would have been a perfect match for a Boss Fight. These creators often have love for one team, but it's hard to resist the bigger market. Yeah, I know. Fresh Monkey's sticking around. They're sticking around. Yeah, Ben, thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by. Hope you'll catch the replay if you didn't catch the whole thing. But that's it, guys. I didn't think I was going to show you all my Kickstarter history, but I did. But yeah, I'm diehard, right? I've been in the game for a long time, just like you guys. Back in these Kickstarters since, what was the year here? Oh, there's a whole bunch here. I didn't show you the ones that all got canceled, that didn't, the unsuccessful pledges. But the first one that pledged was 2016. So I'm coming up on good 8-9 years with that first Zika Toys one. But yeah, 118 for life, man. 375 forever. All right, but that's the show, guys. I hope you had a good time. I know I was long-winded. I had a lot to talk about, but I am passionate about the hobby. I think if you're watching this too, that you are as well, so you'll appreciate it. And thank you for coming. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm sure there'll be some Joe Fest news. And who knows what else. I'm sure Joy Toy is going to drop another 20 figures on us. Maybe even some Star Wars. Who knows? But don't forget that Star Wars pre-order for the Stormtroopers and the Cantina pack Bjorn mentioned tomorrow. They're going back up, so if you missed them, that's your chance tomorrow. I think that's it. That's the show, guys. Thank you for coming, all of you guys that came. I do appreciate it. Can't do the show without you guys. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for participating. And even to you guys that didn't participate but you're watching, thank you. If you ever want to talk, hit me up on Instagram. Leave a message in the comments below. Yeah, peace out, Ben. Yes, stay for the Eagle Force. Maybe that's the topic for the next live stream. We'll see. I kind of do that. The topic has to kind of come to me. As you can see, this isn't a very organized show. I try the best I can, though. I do try the best I can. But I'll see you guys next time. Message me if you want to talk about anything. I do appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to click away now. And let's see. How do I go? I go to this one. All right. Bye, guys. Good night. See you next time, okay? Bye now.